Number 7 on almost every current best pistols list is a gun you cannot buy, and the people who put it there described it backwards. The Glock 49. Glock discontinued it on June 3, 2025. It sits on the official list of 35 SKUs the company cut, and it was never a standard catalog gun. It was a Tallow Distributors exclusive, announced in November 2023 and gone by the following spring. The official Glock page for it returns a 404, and the description almost everyone gives is inside out. The 49 is a G17 length slide on a G19 size frame, long slide, short grip. American Rifleman measured it at 0.67 inches longer than a standard G19. The combination people describe, a short slide on a long frame, is the Glock 45. Different gun, 10 seconds to check, nobody checked. So here is what this actually is, not a ranking. It is the same 10 guns everyone else ranked, run through an afternoon of verification against the maker's own spec sheets, live listings, and court records. What survives is a different list. Every price you hear was checked in the third week of August 2026 against a page that showed the gun in stock that day. Not a sold-out listing, not an MSRP nobody honors. Prices move, so check them the week you buy. One more promise up front. Around the middle of this video, I am going to answer the one question every list in this category runs away from. Is the P320 safe? Yes or no? Not the forum version that ends in a fight and no answer. I am going to answer it with a court sentence in my hand. It sits at the 9-minute mark, and it is the reason this video exists. If you are the kind of man who reads the spec sheet before he trusts the reviewer, this is the list built the way you would build it. There is a new one of these every day. Subscribe and the next one finds you. Now, from the bottom. Number 10, the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2.0. A pocket .380 that finally got the trigger right, 12+1 in the extended magazine, tritium sight standard, 9.8 ounces. All true. The length is 5.5 inches per Smith & Wesson's own spec, confirmed by American Rifleman. You will see 5.1 floating around, wrong by 0.4 of an inch. And the common praise that Smith wisely refused to put an optic on a pocket gun is out of date. Smith now sells optics-ready Bodyguard models from the factory, cut for the Viridian red dot, listed as new on their own site. They reverse the very decision people keep crediting them for. Lowest in-stock price the week I checked, around $399. The honest catch? It is a .380. A backup, a glove box gun, not the pistol you build a defense around. It earned the 10th spot, and no spot above it. Number 9. The Walther PDP Pro E. This is where the reviewer version and the manufacturer version stop agreeing. The claim is that the slide has the deepest optic cut in the industry and that you can direct mount a red dot for a flush fit. Walther's own spec sheet says, in writing, plate cut, optic plate not included. It is a plate system, and the plate does not even come in the box. The opposite of the claim. The trigger gets it too. The real name is the Dynamic Performance Trigger Enhanced. Performance duty is the grip texture, not the trigger. Walther does not publish 4.5 pounds for the pull. Guns.com measured it at 3 pounds, 13 ounces, and the part that decides it. The full-size Pro E, the one people describe, is out of stock on Walther's own store, and every Pro E at retail carries a qualified professionals only tag. Law enforcement and military. The gun you were told to want was not one a civilian could freely buy. Number 8. The SIG P365 Fuse, 7.2 inches long, a 4.3-inch barrel, a flush 17-round magazine, 2 21-rounders in the box. All correct. The fuse shipped the same day it was announced, June 25th, 2024. Now the knock, because the comments will bring it up. There is no recall on the fuse, No service bulletin, no lawsuit. The noise you have heard is about the P320, a different gun, and the two get blended constantly. Across 6 professional reviews and more than 1,800 documented rounds, 4 total malfunctions, 2 of which the reviewer blamed on the ammunition. 3 of those reviews had 0. That is a good record, not the disaster the internet made it. I will not give you a velocity number because nobody chronographed this gun. The 4.3-inch barrel gets you close to a Glock 19, not to a full-size service pistol. Physics, not opinion. Number 7 is the discontinued Glock 49 we already buried, which sets a rule this whole video runs on. If a list puts a gun you cannot buy at number 7, ask what else on it you cannot buy. It pays off near the end. Number 6, the Ruger RXM. Ruger and Magpul together, a Glock 19 pattern gun that takes Glock 19 magazines and accepts Gen 3 parts, 23.2 ounces, around $427 in stock, a real discount off a $539 MSRP. The honest limitation. It is sold as a universal direct mount optic system, no adapter plates. True for the common red dots, but a closed emitter optic and aimpoint acro still needs a plate. Universal is the marketing word, and this is a video about small things that add up. Now, a question, and answer it in your head. Of these 10 pistols, how many really run on Glock magazines? The most liked comment on lists like this says all of them, and calls it proof of Glock. Hold your number. The real one comes later, and it is not what you are thinking. Number 5. The Canik TTI Combat. The Taran Butler collaboration, a 4.6-inch fluted barrel, quick detach compensator, 18 and 21 round magazines in the box, 29.5 ounces, all confirmed. Around $949 in stock, the honest knock, and it is documented. On a gun forum in October 2024, an owner reported a failure to fire roughly every 3 rounds, the striker clicking with no primer strike, traced to the slide not fully returning to battery on the stiff competition spring. Here is the fair part. The gun ships with 2 recoil springs, and the maker's service line sent a high-force spring for exactly that symptom, with a break-in note up to 150 rounds. A documented failure and a documented fix. Both true. Number 4, the Springfield Echelon. 4.5-inch barrel, 17 flush, 20 extended, 23.9 ounces. The self-locking pin optic system. All 4 correct. The number you must not repeat is 100,000 rounds. The claim that the chassis is verified for 100,000 rounds of abuse exists nowhere. Not on Springfield's page, not in either press release, not in the 2,000 round test Shooting Illustrated actually ran. Springfield calls the chassis a serialized stainless steel unit and gives no round number at all. Somebody multiplied a 2,000 round test by 50. Do not carry that number for them. What is real is who is adopting it. Spain's national police selected the Echelon in December 2025. And here is the twist that turns the compliment inside out. Spain's own technical evaluators scored the Echelon 79.7 against 82.6 for the Heckler and Koch it beat. It won on price, not on the technical score. It was, in the words of the Spanish police union that protested, the cheapest offer and the worst rated by the specialists. Around $526 in stock, the deepest discount on this list. If this breakdown just kept you from buying a gun that was discontinued in June 2025, or from repeating a round count somebody invented, do me one favor and leave a like. It is the one signal that tells the channel this work is worth doing. And subscribe, because the top 4 are where it gets uncomfortable. Number 3, the CD Shadow 2, a steel competition pistol. one of the best shooting guns anyone puts on these lists. Around $1,200 for the base gun in stock, up past $1,400 for the optics-ready version. But here is the invented number, the same disease as the Echelon. The claim that CZ's own testing shows 1.5-inch groups at 25 yards does not exist. CZ publishes no accuracy specification for the Shadow 2. No factory guarantee, no test target, no number. The site has marketing language and not one measurement. Attaching a 1.5-inch group to a CZ test is putting a number in the company's mouth it never said. The honest catch on the gun itself. It is heavy, all steel, a range and competition pistol. Nobody is carrying this concealed. It is on the list because it shoots, not because you will holster it. Number 2 on almost every one of these lists is a SIG P320. And the P320 is where every one of these videos loses its audience, because the maker puts it near the top and half the comments walk out. So let me do the thing none of them did. Let me read the record. Both sides, because a channel that only tells you one side of this is working an angle, and you would smell it. Start with the case the whole internet gets wrong. On July 20th, 2025, Airman Braden Loven died at FE, Warren Air Force Base, and the M18, the military P320, was blamed. It is cited everywhere as proof the gun fires itself. On November 4th, 2025, a court-martial established that the shooter pointed the M18 at Loven's chest in a joking manner. 2 airmen pleaded guilty to false official statements because the shooter had coached them to say, quote, "Tell them that I slammed my duty belt on the desk and it went off." Somebody used this gun's reputation as an alibi. The suspension that followed the death was lifted after 34 days. Read that again. The single most cited proof that the P320 goes off by itself was a homicide, with a sentence, and the lie built into it was those exact words. It just went off. So, is the P320 safe? Yes or no? Here is the honest answer, and it is both at once. On one side, Washington's Police Training Academy, the WSCJTC, not the State Patrol, banned the platform from its facilities on February 24th, 2025, and a judge denied SIG's motion to stay that ban on August 1st, 2025. The ban stands. The FBI Ballistic Research Facility, in a report published August 30th, 2024, recorded a tested M18 firing 9 times in 50 attempts with no trigger pull and a brand new M18 firing on the second attempt. A Philadelphia jury's finding of defective design survived even after the judge threw out the punitive damages. Chicago, Denver, Houston, ICE, and the competition body IDPA all moved off it in 2025. And on the other side, at the same time, SIG won both of the big trials of 2026, the 8th Circuit in July, and a main jury in August. Switzerland's armed forces adopted the P320 in December 2025. The Texas Police Tactical Association lifted its own restriction after reviewing independent testing. The Army, the Navy, and the Marines never suspended it. And there has never been a recall. Not once. There was a voluntary upgrade in 2017, only for drop fire, a different failure entirely. By law, the Federal Product Safety Commission has no authority over firearms, which is why no regulator can force one. So when the comment comes in that says, "I am just defending SIG," here is my answer. The ban is real, and the wins are real. In the same month, about the same gun. Anybody who hands you a clean yes or a clean no on this is selling you a tribe. This channel does not do that. One note on the gun ranked here, the P320 X5 Legion. It was announced in May 2019 after the 2017 upgrade, so it ships with the updated parts. No source names this exact model in any lawsuit, ban, or study. I will not tell you it was implicated, and I will not tell you it was cleared. Neither one is in the record. Number one on almost every list is the Staccato HDP4, a steel frame 2011, no grip safety, 32 ounces, a 4-inch bull barrel, a 4 to 4.5 pound trigger. All correct, and the headline claim is true, and stronger than most say it. Staccato's own blog says the HD pistols feed from any full-size Glock pattern magazine, not Staccato branded. Glock pattern. Independent testers ran Magpul magazines through it with no trouble. Now the number you have been holding. How many of these 10 run on Glock magazines? Not all 10. 3. The Ruger RXM, the Staccato HD, and the Glock 49, which is a Glock and proves nothing. Take that one out, and it is 2 of 10 that chose the Glock pattern on purpose. 7 run proprietary magazines with no Glock lineage at all. The instinct behind that comment is right, but not for the reason people think. The Glock magazine became an interface standard, and makers reach for it not because it is more reliable, but because agencies already have millions of them in a warehouse. Logistics, not mechanics. And here is the number that ends the number one debate. On the day I checked, the Staccato HDP4 had no in-stock retail price anywhere. The lowest listing was Get Notified. The MSRP is $2,499, and that is all I can honestly give you because there is no street price. The best pistol of the year, according to the list, is a gun you cannot walk in and buy, which is the whole lie. And it was never about ballistics. 3 of these 10 you cannot buy. The Staccato at number 1, no in-stock price. The Walther full size at number 9, out of stock and pro only. The Glock 49 at number 7, discontinued since June 2025. A list that calls a gun you cannot buy the best of the year is not lying about the gun. It is lying about the calendar. Now, before the verdict, the block none of these lists ever build. Which of these can you even legally own where you live? The hottest thread on a video like this was not about the number 1 gun. It was a New Jersey owner, 52 likes, 34 replies, and it had nothing to do with the ranking. California, Washington, the 10-round limit, over and over. A list of 10 high-capacity pistols that never mentions that half its audience cannot buy half of them is talking to the wrong room. There is a Staccato HD P4 state-compliant model, and the Fuse has a 3-magazine 10-round version. Neither gets a word on these lists. So tell me, which one on this list can you not buy in your state? Drop the state and the gun. That is the map I want to build next, and you are the ones with the addresses. The verdict is what you came for, so take 1 second and subscribe first. There is a new one of these every day, so a winner. There isn't one. The numbers refuse to crown one, and you would see right through me if I tried. What there is a sorting. If you want a backup that disappears in a pocket, the bodyguard is right, and the cheapest, honest answer here. If you want a duty gun you can actually buy this week. The Echelon is in stock and deeply discounted, and its worst problem is a round count somebody invented for it. If you shoot for score at the range, the Shadow 2 earns every ounce of its weight. If you want the Glock magazine you already stock by the crate, it is the Ruger RXM or the Staccato, and only those 2. If you are asking about the P320, the honest answer is a map, not a verdict, and you now have both halves of it. And under all of it, the one line that outranks the list. The best pistol on any of these lists is the one you can buy, feed, and shoot well. A $400 gun you own beats a $2,500 gun that is out of stock. The gun everyone in these comments keeps asking for, and every one of these lists ignores, is the Smith & Wesson M and P 2.0. It had the loudest unanswered request on the video I checked. So it is next its own breakdown every number checked the same way I checked these. After that, the Glock 19 Gen 6, because you asked for that one too. Here is your task this week, and it is offline. Take the one gun on this list you actually want, open a second tab, and find one page, one retailer that shows it in stock at a price today. Not a get notified button, not an MSRP, a real listing you could check out of. If you cannot find one, you just learned more about that gun than the ranking told you. Post the gun and whether it was actually buyable. Then tell me the one I really want argued. For the men who own more than one of these, which one earned its spot in your safe, and which one has been the safe queen since the day you brought it home? And if you think I ranked any of this wrong, bring a source. Data, not feelings. Bring me a better number than mine, and you go in the next video with credit. I read everyone, and the comments decide what gets checked next. A list of the best guns of the year should survive being fact-checked in an afternoon. This one didn't, and now you know how to check the next one yourself. Subscribe if this one earned it.